Okay. So yeah, we were talking about the fact that study and the we will always what we have to study is the meaning and purpose of relationships. That means the purpose of relationships and the values of different relationships, and the that is what any study will also result in an understanding of this, the purpose and values of relationship. So, and then he had listed some values and the purposes we had already done, and then he had listed some values. Do you have anything from there that you were thinking about, that you want to talk about or ask or something? Uh,
Drishta. I don't remember what we were doing that day.
I
Forgotten.
Monday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday becomes a long, and Tuesday becomes a long break.
Mm. And in between, I did the Sunday class, no?
Yeah.
Something else came in between. And I think it's sounding the same as that Sunday class, what you're asking.
Acha, हाँ, that part.
Yeah, human value, human relationships, and like that's something.
If that is the purpose and end of all study, then
Huh.
that is what will come up everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. ठीक है. So I'll just play थोड़ा पीछे से so that we can listen.
इस प्रकार से 9 मूल्य बनता है, मैंने पहचानने में.
So he listed the different 9 values that are inherent in any relationship, that are confidence, trust, confidence, gratitude, pride or glory, um, affection, care, concern, um, reverence. What else? I can't remember what I've done. Basically, there were those 9 that we covered. And then, respect and love. So anyway, those are the 9 values inherent in any relationships.
आता है. कृतज्ञता को हम स्वाभाविक रूप में हमें पहचानते हैं कि जहाँ कहीं भी हमको हमारे अभ्युदय के लिए हमारा सहायता कहीं से भी मिला हो, जिस किसी से भी मिला हो, उसकी स्वीकृति हो जाने पर इसका नाम है कृतज्ञता.
So we recognize gratitude as when the acceptance happens of any sort of contribution that we may have received in the direction of our flourishment, then that acceptance, that is called gratitude.
जो मैंने कर चुके हैं, जो घटित हो चुका है, उसको स्वीकार करने वाली क्रिया का नाम है कृतज्ञता. तो अभ्युदय के अर्थ में ही सारे स्वीकृतियां हो पाता है.
So whatever people have done, whatever already has occurred, when we are able to accept and acknowledge that, then that is called gratitude. And all such acceptances are only possible in context of or for abhyuday, for flourishment. So whenever you accept anyone's help, it will be an acceptance for their help in your flourishment. Whatever you
किसी अर्थ में स्वीकृतियां नहीं हो पाता है. प्रयोजन का मतलब यही है. अब
acceptances are not possible in any other direction other than flourishment. That is the meaning of purpose.
अभ्युदय के अर्थ में जो कुछ भी संबंध में जो कुछ भी उपलब्धियां हो पाते हैं, उन सबको स्वीकारना, यहाँ से हम कृतज्ञ होता है.
That is the meaning of purpose, that whatever contributions have happened in the relationship towards the direction of flourishment, accepting all of that, that is when we are able to be grateful.
ठीक है ना? ये कृतज्ञता के साथ ही कृतज्ञता पहले आवश्यक है ही। तो इसी के साथ
So this is gratitude, and gratitude is absolutely necessary.
गौरव, श्रद्धा, प्रेम, विश्वास, वात्सल्य, ममता, सम्मान,
And it is with this gratitude that you have pride or glory, gaurav, reverence, love, respect,
श्रद्धा, प्रेम, विश्वास, वात्सल्य, ममता, सम्मान, स्नेह,
trust, concern, care, affection.
ये अपने आप में होने लगता है।
So it is only along with gratitude, after gratitude, that all these others automatically start to happen.
कृतज्ञता बहुत आवश्यक है और कृतज्ञता से हम स्नेह करना, मैत्री करना, विश्वास करना बन ही जाता है।
Gratitude is extremely necessary, and with gratitude, we naturally become capable of doing. I mean, he's saying doing glory, doing trust, doing respect. So this is an important thing to also note, that he's kind of associating this also as an activity. Well, it's not that you will, once you have gratitude for someone else, you will also be able to take pride in them. You will also be able to have affection for them, to be able to trust them. So this is something you are able to do when you are able to have gratitude for others.
और कृतज्ञ नहीं होते हैं, ऐसा विश्वास करना बनता नहीं था।
And when we are not grateful in that situation, then we are not able to trust.
तो
Just speak into it.
Is the trust in terms of the things that where we feel grateful, like it's in relation to those things, or is it in relation to them as a whole?
Yeah, I think trust is in relation to the things that we feel grateful for initially. And then when you are able to feel trust them in those areas in which they directly supported you, then on the basis of that, you're also able to respect them for things where they are not maybe directly supporting you, but they are contributing to others. And so, first gratitude leads to pride, taking pride in them. Okay, this is their direct contribution for me. Then you're able to see, oh, this is their direct contribution for other things also. So first you have gratitude for them, then you take pride in them. And on this basis, you're able to evaluate them properly. And based on the proper evaluation, you're able to trust them. Oh, this is something that they do. This is something that they are. This is who they are. When you recognize who they are, you're able to trust them.
ये भी एक बहुत ही बुनियादी तथ्य है, कोई भी ऐसा मनुष्य आपको मिलेगा नहीं दूसरे से सहायता मिला ना हो।
And this is also a very fundamental fact, that you will not find a single human being who has never received any help or support from another human being.
कोई भी एक आदमी नहीं मिलेगा, एक भी आदमी आप हम मान नहीं पाएंगे। तो
Will find not a single person. None of us will be able to find such a person who's not received help.
तो कहीं ना कहीं
What kind of person who you've not received help?
No, any person who has never received any help from anyone.
मिलेगा, एक भी आदमी आप हम मान नहीं पाएंगे। तो कहीं ना कहीं किसी न किसी का सहायता मिला ही रहती है। तो सहायता के साथ ही आदमी बड़ा होता है, अपने को समर्थ मानता है और प्रमाणित हो जाता है।
So every human being receives some form of help somewhere or the other in their life, and that is how they grow up with the help of others. And
समर्थमान आदमी बड़ा होता है, अपने को समर्थ मानता है और प्रमाणित हो जाता है.
so it is with the support of others that a person is able to grow up, find himself to feel capable and feel like they can now evidence themselves. It'll always be with support.
ये काम सदा सदा से चले आई हुई है. इस क्रम
This is something that has happened forever and ever.
में हमारा जितने भी संबंध हैं, जैसा पुत्र पुत्री संबंध, मित्र संबंध, है ना, शिक्षा संबंध, गुरु शिष्य संबंध, माता पिता संबंध.
And in this sequence, all the different types of relationships that we have, like our offspring relationship, our sibling relationships, our parental relationships, our friendships, the relationship of friendship,
है ना, शिक्षा संबंध, गुरु शिष्य
teacher-student relationship, which is the educational relationship,
संबंध, माता पिता संबंध और माने साथी सहयोगी संबंध. ये जितने भी संबंध होते हैं, इसको 7 प्रकार से हम गिनते हैं.
the husband-wife relationship, the colleague relationship, all of these relationships that exist, we count them as 7 different categories.
इन संबंधों में यही मूल्य नियोजित होता है.
And in all of these relationships, it is these same values that are employed, the 9 that we counted just now.
संबंधों में मूल्य ही मूल्यांकित होने पर संबंधों की निरंतरता बन जाता है.
And in these relationships, it is those values themselves that will be evaluated. And when they are evaluated to exist, then that relationship becomes successful or meaningful.
उन संबंधों में मूल्य ही मूल्यांकित होने पर संबंधों की निरंतरता बन जाता है.
Oh, sorry. And when those values become evaluated to exist in those relationships, then we can find a continuum in that relationship, a continuity in that relationship. So those 9 values that we counted are the things that are employed in the 7 types of relationships. And those are the values that we look for when we are living out those relationships. And if we find that those values exist, we evaluate that, yes, those values are being lived out in the relationship, then we can form a continuity of the relationship as well.
मूल्यों का यदि मूल्यांकन नहीं होता है, उस स्थिति में संबंधों की निरंतरता होता नहीं.
And if we are unable to evaluate that those values exist in those relationships, in that situation, there is no continuity in that relationship.
ये बहुत अच्छी ढंग से पहचानने की मुद्दा है.
This is something that needs to be recognized very well.
यदि ये बनता है, उसको परिवार में हम अच्छी ढंग से आजमा सकते हैं. तो यदि हम उसमें निरंतरता पाते हैं, हमको ये पता लगता है कि अच्छी ढंग से हम इसको निर्वाह कर सकते हैं और आगे चल सकते हैं.
And if we are able to understand this, then we can test this out in our families, and then we can आजमा सकते हैं, and then we can take it forward, and then we can live by taking this forward.
ढंग से हम इसको निर्वाह कर सकते हैं और आगे चल सकते हैं. इसकी आवश्यकता है. ये सब चीजें अपने आप पाता है.
So once we understand that this is what relationships are all about, living out values and evaluating the values, and that leads to their continuity, then we can check these out in our family. And when we check these out in the family, when we start checking if this is happening or not, then we start also consciously trying to live out the values. And when we are able to live out the values, we are able to take that relationship forward and evidence this. All this happens very easily then.
में हम गए जो मूल्यों को निर्वाह करने का प्रवृत्ति स्वयं स्फूर्त गए जो मूल्यों को निर्वाह करने का प्रवृत्ति इन क्रम में हम गए जो मूल्यों को निर्वाह करने का प्रवृत्ति स्वयं स्फूर्त
In this sequence, the tendency to live out these values is spontaneous and innate.
इसको ऐसा भी पहचाना जाता है, हम जो सामान्य रूप में हम जिस किसी को भी हमारा संबंधी है मानते हैं, जो जैसा हमारे बुजुर्ग एक आदमी कहीं भी जाते समय में आते हैं, उनके साथ हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अच्छे से अच्छे अपने प्रस्तुति को प्रस्तुत करते हैं.
This can also be recognized in this way that, for instance, when we recognize someone as our relation, for instance, some elderly person who we relate with, who we feel is a relation of ours, and then when we come across them and we have to interact with them, then we behave with and we put up the best of our behavior. We try our best to behave in the most suitable manner with the person that we have recognized as our relative.
तो वही हम अजनबा आदमी के साथ कोई अपने प्रस्तुति को ठीक से प्रस्तुत करते नहीं.
And while at the same time, if that was some strange person, then we would not present ourselves in the right, most appropriate, most considerate, basically, and thoughtful manner.
ये बात सदा बनी हुई है, ये बहुत चिरकालीन कथा है. इन चिरकालीन कथा के साथ साथ हम अपने को परीक्षण करने वाली बात पर आते हैं. हम क्या
This is something that has always been there. This is a very old story. And when we test ourselves on this old story,
के साथ साथ हम अपने को परीक्षण करने वाली बात पर आते हैं. हम क्या करते हैं, हम क्या करते हैं वाला बात आते हैं तो परंपरागत विधि से हम कुछ भी संबंध पहचानते हैं, वो आयु के.
so when we go about testing or examining ourselves on this old story of the fact that, you know, when we have someone that we relate with, we feel a connection with, we behave really well and try to behave our best. And when it's a stranger that we feel no connection to, then we treat them however. It's very insincere, unthought out. And so when we try to examine ourselves on this old story, we find we check what is it that we do. And what we do is that we have some traditionally passed down notion of relationships.
आते हैं तो परंपरागत विधि से हम कुछ भी संबंध पहचानते हैं, वो आयु के ऊपर भी हो सकता है, धन के ऊपर भी हो सकता है, बल के ऊपर भी हो सकता है, ऐसा बनता है.
So we have all different ways that have been passed down traditionally on the basis of which we identify relationships. Somehow, this could be on the basis of their age, it could be on the basis of their wealth, their status, it could be anything really.
पहचान जो कुछ भी पहचाना रहते हैं तो बल बुद्धि रूप पद धन 4 विधा से आदमी को पहचाना जाता है.
So how we identify or recognize someone as a relation or place someone in our relationships, it is basically, if you categorize it, it is as might, intellect, appearance, and wealth. And actually some of them combine to form status. So your might, your intellect, your appearance, and your wealth will combine to form your different statuses in society. So these are the ways in which we relate to people, or in which we place people in our circle of relationships. Oh, this person is older than me, I'll call them this, or they are my so-and-so. Oh, this person is wealthier than me, so I'll place them as this. Or this person seems to be more intelligent than me, so I'll consider them this. It could be any of these 4 bases.
जो बली आदमी है हमारे, उनका पहचान हमारे पास है. उस व्यक्ति को हम जितना पहचानते हैं उसके अनुसार उनके साथ हमारा संबंध को जोड़ लेते हैं.
So if there is a very mighty person that we know, and we identify them as being mighty, and in that respect we associate our relationship with them with respect to their physical strength, basically.
वो अपना पहचान में हमारे साथ जोड़ा रहता है और जोड़ने में वो उनका कार्य और जो जोड़ा हुआ को स्वीकारने का कार्य हमारे साथ जुड़ा रहता है। फलस्वरूप हम उतने ही अच्छे ढंग से हम पहचाने रहते हैं एक दूसरे को।
And they associate some recognition to us in their own manner, and can't really.
जोड़ा हुआ को स्वीकारने का कार्य हमारे साथ जुड़ा रहता है।
So I have identified them as someone mighty. They identify us in their own way. They accept our identification of them as someone mighty, and we accept however they have identified us.
फलस्वरूप हम उतने ही अच्छे ढंग से हम पहचाने रहते हैं एक दूसरे को।
And consequently, to that extent, we are able to recognize each other. We are able to recognize each other well to the extent that we are able to accept mutually accept how we have identified each other. So if he is accepting of my identification of him, and I am accepting of his identification of me, and to the extent that we have this acceptance, we will be able to recognize each other well.
फलस्वरूप उसी के अनुसार हम वो मूल्यांकित करते हैं। माने
Consequently, we evaluate one another on the very same basis, on the basis of how we've identified each other.
मूल्यों का निर्वाह करते हैं जो
And we also, on the same basis, we also live out the values on the basis of how we've recognized each other.
स्नेह को निर्वाह करें, चाहे गौरव को निर्वाह करें, चाहे कृतज्ञता को गौरव निर्वाह करें, किसी न किसी चीज को हम निर्वाह करते हैं।
Whether it is affection that we live out, whether it is pride that we live out, whether it is gratitude that we live out, something or the other we necessarily do live out with them.
ऐसा सोचना चाहिए। तो ये क्रम को हम अच्छी ढंग से देख चुके हैं।
This is how we must think about this.
इसमें हम गुजर चुके हैं। हमारा जो अनुभव ये कहता है, तो हमारा पहचान हम जहाँ जहाँ स्थापित करते हैं वहाँ हमारा संबंध अपने आप में पहचाना हुआ रहता ही है।
So this is something that I have seen very thoroughly, that I have also lived through very thoroughly. And what I have experienced is that wherever I am able to establish my identity properly, in those areas or in those places, I am
स्थापित करते हैं वहाँ हमारा संबंध अपने आप में पहचाना हुआ रहता ही है।
In those places, our relationship automatically remains properly identified. So as long as, I think what he's saying is that as long as I am able to establish my identity, whatever my identity is, properly in certain areas, in those areas, the others will be able to recognize that relationship properly. Yeah, I just want to listen to a little bit, see if he's expanding on it.
सिद्ध बात इतनी ही है। वही चीज हर व्यक्ति के साथ जुड़ा है। आप
That is all that I mean, this is something which is pretty established, and that's all that is established really. And the same thing is associated with every single person.
आपके साथ मैं अपना पहचान को हम पहचानवा देते हैं, आप भी पहचानवाते हैं।
With you, I establish my identity with you, and you establish your identity with me. In the sense that I help you recognize me and you help me recognize you.
फलस्वरूप आप हमारे बीच में हम पहचानवा देते हैं, आप भी पहचानवाते हैं। फलस्वरूप आप हमारे बीच में मैत्री होना स्वाभाविक हो जाता है।
Consequently, it becomes very natural for there to be friendship or friendliness between us,
संबंध को पहचानना स्वाभाविक हो जाता है।
and natural to identify the relationship between us.
इस ढंग से संबंध को पहचाना जाता है।
In this way, a relationship is recognized.
अभी पहले बात तो अभ्युदय के अर्थ में ही है, उसके बाद पोषण के अर्थ में है, उसके बाद संरक्षण के अर्थ में है, और ये इन अर्थों में सारा संबंध जुड़ी हुई है।
So foremost, the relationship is, all relationships are towards flourishment itself. After that, it is towards nourishment. After that, towards protection. In these purposes, these are the purposes associated with all relationships. That means the purpose of any relationship would be the one of the three of these, or some of the three of these.
और सबसे बड़ी जो बात है प्रामाणिकता के अर्थ में संबंध,
And not just the three, sorry, and the most priority, or the highest most priority that any relationship could have, the purpose of any relationship could have, is a relationship towards authenticity or evidencement. So these four: right? Flourishment, nourishment, protection, and authenticity or evidencement. This is an educational purpose.
तो प्रमाण जो है सर्वोपरि वरीयता की बात है। प्रमाण के आधार पर हर व्यक्ति संतुष्ट होता ही।
So this evidence is something of utmost priority, and on the basis of evidence, every single person feels satisfied.
ठीक है, ये जो संतुष्ट होने वाली बात हमको समझ में आता है, इसको हम एक जगह में नहीं, अनेक जगह में, एक देश में नहीं, अनेक देश में, एक परिवार में नहीं, अनेक परिवार में अपन प्रयोग करके देख सकते हैं।
And this thing about being satisfied thanks to evidence is something that we can experiment and see for ourselves, not just in one place, in many places, not in one country, but many countries, not in one time, but many times. We can keep experimenting and verifying this thing that evidence brings satisfaction.
ये मुख्य बात संबंधों के बारे में अपने को स्वीकार।
So this major point regarding relationships is something that we need to accept.
करने की आवश्यकता है, और मूल्यों को भी, मूल्य जो है ना जीवन सहज रूप में वो उद्गमित होता है।
And these values, they emerge in a way that is completely natural to the Jivan. They naturally emerge, and when he says naturally, he means natural to the Jivan. They naturally emerge. These values are something that emerge very naturally in the Jivan.
जैसा आपका हमारा संबंध, इसमें किसी को बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो आप हमें मिलते हैं, स्वाभाविक रूप में एक मूल्य जो बहना चाहिए, विश्वास, वो आप हमारे बीच में अपने आप से शुरू हो जाता है।
For instance, your and my relationship. In this, no one needs to tell anyone anything. Whenever we meet, this value of trust automatically starts to flow.
इसके लिए बहुत सारा हम कहीं भी कोई तप नहीं किया, कोई बड़ी भारी साधना नहीं किया, और बिना ही इन सभी बात की हमारे साथ आपका, आपके साथ मेरा पहचान बनने के लिए योग्य ये एक तरीका है, अपने आप से निष्पन्न होती है। उस
So, and for this confidence or trust to flow in our relationship, I had to do no very heavy duty sort of austerity or meditation, or what are all those words? I keep forgetting them. Sadhana and stuff, words. Penances. I mean, I didn't have to do any of those things in order for this to be possible, this trust to flow in our relationship. This is something that happens.
के लिए योग्य ये बात आपका, आपके साथ मेरा पहचान बनने के लिए योग्य ये एक तरीका है, अपने आप से निष्पन्न होती है। उसमें ये मूल्य समाया ही रहता है। विश्वास कोई बीच में अपने आप से शुरू हो जाता है, की जरूरत नहीं है। तो आप हमें मिलते हैं, स्वाभाविक रूप में एक मूल्य जो बहना चाहिए, विश्वास, वह आप हमारे बीच में अपने आप से शुरू हो जाता है। इसके लिए बहुत सारा हम कहीं भी कोई तप नहीं किया, कोई बड़ी भारी साधना नहीं किया, और बिना ही इन सभी बात की हमारे साथ आपका, आपके साथ मेरा पहचान बनने के लिए योग्य ये एक तरीका है, अपने आप से निष्पन्न होती है। उसमें ये मूल्य समाया ही रहता है।
So without needing any of that penance or austerity or any such things, this is a way in which it becomes possible for values to flow naturally from me to you and from you to me. And this happens naturally.
का है, अपने आप से निष्पन्न होती है। उसमें ये मूल्य समाया ही रहता है।
In this way, in this process that I'm describing, these values are inherently, they are inherent to this process. That is, the values inherently flow when we recognize our relationships, is what he's saying. Nothing has to be said or told. As long as you recognize the relationships, the values automatically flow.
विश्वास समाया ही रहता है, तभी हम संबंधों को पहचानना बन जाती है।
The values are inherent in this process. Trust is inherent in this process, and therefore it becomes possible for us to trust one another.
ये इस विधि से हम अच्छी तरह से हम मूल्यों को पहचानने, संबंधों को पहचानने, मूल्यांकन करने और उभय तृप्ति पाने की रास्ता अपना सकते हैं।
In this way, we can very easily find the way to recognize relationships, recognize the values, mutually evaluate the presence of those values, and find mutual fulfillment.
तो इससे क्या हो गया भाई, बहुत बड़ा लाभ क्या हो गया, इससे कौन सा लाभ हो जाएगा?
And what does this lead to? What is the great achievement that leads to? What is the great thing in that doing this?
लाभ यह हो जाएगा, भय और प्रलोभन के आधार पर हर बात को हम मूल्यांकन करते रहे, उसके स्थान पर मूल्य और मूल्यांकन से माने मूल्यांकित करने की स्थिति में हम आ जाते हैं।
So what is the great benefit of being able to do this? The benefit is that we move from this state of doing all sorts of evaluation on the basis of fear and greed to a state where we're doing evaluation based on values and evaluation. So we are living out values and evaluating values rather than doing some sort of assessment of how our fears are placed, how our greeds are placed in relation to one another.
तो
Right. So to go back to that point where he's saying, I give I establish my identity and you establish your identity. And wherever I'm able to establish my identity, in Hindi you say to give your parichaya, to give your, almost like introduction. In those places, others are also able to identify their relationship with me. And how I see it is that, like, first for that, I need to know what my identity is so that I can establish it in front of you so that you can identify me in that way, right? So then the question becomes, what really is identity? But say whatever notion we have of identity today. Let's take the example of the mighty person. Someone who identifies with their physical strength. When they are able to establish their identity in any situation as someone who's physically strong, mighty, then others are also recognizing them as someone who is mighty. And insofar as there is agreement on what I am establishing and what others are recognizing, that feels satisfactory. As soon as actually this problems or mistrust and shaking up of relationships only happen when what I am, my identity, is different from what others are identifying me as. And usually that is happening because I don't understand my identity. So I'm not able to establish my identity in front of anyone. So really, this is all in my hands. If I understand myself, I will be able to help you recognize me and relate with me also. This is very nice. I haven't paid attention to this before.
Drishta,
Sorry. One second.
Drishta,
One second. Ha, Manjini, speak.
I could have waited hours that I've forgotten. Now, if I think I'm a very honest person, I'm just giving an example, and I meet you and you don't find me honest. I mean, you don't think that's, I mean, it's irrelevant. I mean, you don't think of me as an honest person. Okay, let's say in the business, I know I'm very honest. The other person doesn't trust me because they don't know whether I'm honest or not. So how does that? I'm convinced. I have no doubt about my identity as being honest. Say. Then how does this
So-
work?
So what that tells us is that even though you feel you are an honest person, you haven't been able to establish your identity as an honest person in this purview. So that would make me wonder, why have I not been able to establish my identity as an honest person here? Right? And that then needs to be explored.
Isn't it a possibility that the person I'm referring to, the other person, who is not, who doesn't think I'm honest or doesn't know whether I'm honest and is neutral, is wondering, and is not convinced or doesn't know. It may be because that person is untrusting by nature, doubtful by nature. It can be that also, can't it?
So what he's saying here is that there is no person who is untrusting in their nature. It is just that people have not been able to allow them to identify them properly. He's putting the key in the hands of the person who wants to be trusted. So he's saying, say, why does a person become untrusting to begin with? It's because several times they've had misses in terms of, they identified
Yeah.
someone as something, but it didn't work out. They identified someone as something, turned out wasn't true. So now they've just become cynical about it. But
Okay.
even for them, he's saying with me, so many types of people have come. And like first it was my own family, then it was just people outside. Now, any type of stranger who comes, who I come across, I am very easily able to establish my identity as someone trustworthy for them. And even if they are very, different types of people, he gave the example of people who are very conceited, child. I think he was giving that example. People who are conceited are looking at themselves. They're not looking at others as much. They're putting themselves above someone else generally. And he's saying even with such people, that deflated very soon. In the first couple of steps itself, that got deflated because I was able to establish myself, my identity with them as someone who is trustworthy, as someone with whom they can be genuine and who is being genuine with them. So this whole act of establishing my identity, that is not what he's saying is automatic. He's saying that is some capability in me to be able to establish my identity with someone. First, that requires for me to understand my identity, recognize my identity, and then this process of relating when I'm able to establish it for the other person to see. And I think when this mighty case or the honesty example, these are all traits. So maybe someone is mighty, maybe someone is honest, but then there are so many other parts of my personality, I feel, that might not be steady. Maybe I'm steadily honest, I'm steadily mighty, maybe I'm steadily generous, but maybe there are other parts of my personality that are not steady, that are uncertain. And so actually my identity encompasses all of the traits that are within me, right? So then I think I am honest and I try to present myself as that, or I think I'm mighty and I try to present myself as that. And the other may or may not accept that immediately. Say, even if they accept it momentarily, then as I live, these other parts of my personality intrude onto that. No?
Like maybe I'm honest, but I'm fearful. So in some situations, I will end up doing things that maybe a confident person will not do. And the other person might see that uncertainty and feel like, oh, it seemed like they were a pretty straight and genuine and honest person, but they don't seem to be living that out. There is no evidence of that here. And then there's a lot of scope for misevaluation happening in that way also. When there's this mix up khichdi of the different steady and unsteady traits within us. I think our unsteady traits compromise some of our steadier traits in moments of our weakness in those areas. Does that make sense?
Okay. It does, but I'm not sure it is. I mean, nobody has all the traits steady, no? Like,
But that's what
not
he's
nobody-
saying.
Acha, but he has. He had, but others, nobody else. I think, no, it's not common to have people like that, no? But the honesty stays where it is, and fear of the dark stays where it is. For example,
Yeah.
you're a mix of all traits, no? All personalities or identities.
Mm.
Maybe
That's
you're
what-
honest, but not very honest, but not very compassionate. You have these
Right.
two traits.
Yeah, but so if we identify with both, that is an
Huh.
issue in our understanding of identity itself. And like there's more detail on that. That's why, this is just an
Gotcha.
opening of the chapter. And then you
Okay.
have to understand what identity is. What do I identify with in ourselves? Some people believe that, oh, I'm just a moody person. What can I do about it? So I've identified with this behavioral pattern in me that I have observed. But actually, that is not something worth identifying with, So that sort of thing then needs to be explored. Who am I really? That is the question.
Acha, there. That's
In order to
proper
be able to
full-time
be,
identity.
yeah,
The identity.
in order to be able to relate with one another, I have to know who I am
My God.
and present myself as who I am. So then I have to
that I'm
understand,
Jeevan. Once you know I am Jeevan.
yeah, not just Jeevan, I am a
Sorry.
human.
Once you know
Or
you are
in which,
Jeevan and
yeah. And then what sort of Jeevan am I at this moment? That also I need to understand. So you need to understand what kind of processes the Jeevan undergoes, or the human being, the Jeevan in the human situation undergoes actually. And then evaluate oneself in that context. So if you were there for yesterday's Manav Vyavahar Darshan session with Sanjana, she was covering all of those sections on what are the different I forgot perspectives that the Jeevan or human being can have, what are the different tendencies that human beings can have, what was the disposition, no, what was the word they used for Vishay? Drishti, Vishay and Swabhav. Perspective, natures and direction that you end up taking. I can't remember the English word they use for it. So those are the criteria that we can use to evaluate ourselves first, and then I understand our identity, and then present ourselves genuinely as such. So yeah, relationships make us also want to understand ourselves. That's why everything, the study is in relationships, by relationships, and for relationships. Because relationships are coexistence. Coexistence is relationship.
Okay.
Kashani, you were saying?
Actually,
Oh, sorry. Huh.
no, let it. It's okay.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking something like another example would be like a sales teacher or something who thinks that they are good at their subject and they can teach the student. And a student, if they feel that yes, that's true, the teacher is able to be punctual, is able to convey things clearly, is able to be patient, understanding all the traits that you need, then you'll feel yes, this is a teacher who can teach me this subject. Whereas if the teacher isn't able to, and that isn't congruent with what the teacher is saying or claiming that they are, but they aren't actually able to be that in a steady way, then the student won't feel they can rely on that. Before that, you started to ask something also. No, yeah. I think also with this teacher example, for initially that's all a student is checking, right? He's like, are they regular? Are they, regularly present for me? Are they able to convey things to me? And so to that extent, the child feels satisfied. But if the teacher is all of these things, but yet in their interpersonal relationships, they're volatile, then slowly the student comes to realize that. And in that area, then he feels like the trust is missing. So therefore, actually, but to the extent that the teacher is able to fulfill, establish her identity as a good teacher, it leads to that much trust. But the trust is not continuous because of the little bit of area where she is not actually steady or not actually able to establish a certain identity because of that fluctuation and volatility. So, and it's not like, I feel like in some ways you can say it's a 1 or a 0, like all or nothing. But in other ways also not, because you get glimpses of trust as you go, even with people today. Of course, full trust is of course a full feeling of complete relaxation where you at least here I can feel like I can completely be sure. So in that way, trust in its fullness is only one all thing. There are no gradations to it, but you do get glimpses of that full thing as you approach it, and that tells us also what to work towards. Time? Do we have time for more? Let's see. Okay. Do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about? We have 3 minutes. We can do some- or we can listen further.
Just reflecting that maybe also seeing how someone doesn't trust us in some ways helps us to identify where we need to work. So in some ways, like a relationship and the kind of what doesn't work so well in terms of how someone accepts you, but you want to be accepted in that way. And so then you can help to see like what are the gaps in my behavior that doesn't allow that person to feel trustworthy of me in this way. And can I work? So that's the kind of really kind of useful template or barometer by which to assess yourself honestly. Because it's also much easier to tell yourself, oh, I'm like this. But actually only when you see the other person doesn't see me like this, then why don't they see me like that? And what can I do to be seen like that? Or to help them understand that I am like that, or to become like that because I'm not like that. So that might be a good learning in relationships.
Yeah, that's I think a great thing because it switches us instead of when we say we want to establish ourselves as an honest person and we find that they're not seeing us as honest. If we don't see it from this lens that you're talking about, we can be very disheartened by it. And it can seem like, oh, this is a terrible thing to happen. And it really brings me down. Whereas if you see it from this lens that, oh, this is an opportunity for me to recognize that either I have misevaluated myself and I have more to do to reach where I want to reach, or for some reason I have not been able to establish this in this relationship. So I have more work to be doing in this relationship. Either way, it is letting me know of a lack that already existed, which I was not aware of. So, it's like, again, if you have a physical wound, if you're really sick and there were no symptoms of it, then you would just get sicker and sicker and sicker until you die without having any warning before that. So these can be seen as those symptoms so that, our relationships don't all collapse all of a sudden, someone disappears without any word. You keep getting hints of that lack of fulfillment along the way so that each hint is an opportunity for me to fix it. So I think when you look at it that way, then it's not as disheartening. It's more like motivating and inspiring that, okay, this will get me to work towards the solution now.
So this is very nice, Rishta. So it's like relationships help you recognize yourself and grow if you want to.
Yeah.
No, so sad. So if you don't like a person, so if you don't like a person, then you know that you have to really continue, uh, look back into yourself and say, Acha, now why did that person say this to me? Okay, blah blah. More homework.
No, start with the people you do like, na. Why do you want to start with people you don't
No,
like?
I do like, but suppose somebody is giving me trouble, like I like the person, but still I'm having trouble. Like we have trouble in relationships, right? So therefore, all this whole thing is all about. So then you have to start thinking, Acha, I have to learn because I'm troubled by it, so I have to learn. No,
Right.
that way.
Yeah. So isn't that a good thing? Because you like them and you want to
Mm.
continue liking them and for them to liking you. And you have a way to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, madam, it is there. Therefore one is doing this study so that you can change and bring about a change in yourself to be in harmony.
Yeah. So this was really valuable, this section, I
Yeah.
feel. Like,
Yeah, very valuable.
like the process he's describing.
Yeah.
He's saying all study, any study is for this, which is to understand relationships. That is to understand what the purpose of any relationship is, and the values inherent in any relationship. When you understand this in the general, then you're able to uh, also recognize relationships in the particular in your everyday situation. In order to do that, though, you also need to be able to establish your identity in all situations. I have an identity and I'm able to establish my identity. Then someone has their identity and they're able to establish their identity with me. And now, because we have an understanding of relationships in general, we have that background understanding, we'll be able to recognize, okay, how do we fit with one another? This person is like this, I am like this. What is our relation? We'll be able to recognize very easily. As soon as we recognize, those values start to flow. That he's saying is automatic. And once those values flow, we also need to keep evaluating whether they're flowing or not. And this process that we were just discussing is that if they're not flowing, if there's distrust, if there's a lack of affection, it tells us that somewhere that recognition has not happened. Why has that recognition not happened? Probably one of the two of us or both of us have not been able to establish our identities with one another fully. So we have, based on this evaluation, we have recourse also what to work on. And when we work on that, we are able to fix that. And when we're able to fix that, then the next evaluation will lead to mutual satisfaction. And also in this entire process, he said that the first and foremost thing that we can recognize about anyone is the fact that they have in some way contributed to our lives and our growth. And if not to ours, we have had someone who's contributed to our lives, and everyone receives contribution from others, and everyone in some way or the other is contributing to someone else. So this person, even if they haven't yet contributed to my growth, has contributed to someone else's. And so we have some basis minimum basis for recognizing them, identifying them. So that is also, I think, very valuable. I think this whole section was very rich. I think that's a good note to end on.
Yes.
Okay, then see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay. See you. Bye. Thank you.